They would not get rid of that bag anytime soon.
Full tanks ahead.
Propelling slid over one timers.
No.
Roman.
Really, they don't know. He deserves.
Welcome to the Season 3 debut of Stuck in the Sin Bin. We're excited to be back on the air, this time as a weekly show, providing you guys with all the hockey news you need. I'm your host, Luke Owens, and as always, I'm joined by Mike McCormack, Dylan McGlynn, and Matt Watling. Guys, I know you're as pumped as me to be back on the air.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mike's new improved hair.
Yeah.
Matt's new and improved suit. This is a big season.
Don Cherry over here.
Bold statement.
Big offseason.
Everyone check my Insta poll, Owens Luke 3. We got to vote on that jacket. But let's jump right into it. The Buffalo Sabres had a rough 2017 campaign, but added some key pieces in the offseason, highlighted by the #1 overall pick, Rasmus Dahlin. So, guys, are the Sabres good enough to contend this year for a playoff spot?
I think they're good enough to contend for one, but I don't think they will actually get one.
Definitely a bubble team this year for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Their defense is just so bad. I mean, Rasmus Ristolainen, cannot speak today, hasn't really proven himself as a top pairing defenseman. But then you look at a guy like their offense, and Jeff Skinner, who they added in the offseason, is just so good. And as you said, Luke, that could be the best line in all of hockey between him, Eichel, and Sam Reinhart.
Yeah, and even when you look at a guy like Sam Reinhart, I think it's going to be a breakout year for him. Guys are different. I think Dylan loves Sam Reinhart. I think you're a little down on Sam Reinhart.
I don't trust him at all. I think he hasn't had a great year. Also, I don't trust Reinhart's period because of Griffin Reinhart.
I mean, I think you look at Reinhart last year, and he struggled for a lot of that first half, and he still had 25 goals. So I think even if he struggles a little bit, playing with Eichel and Skinner, I think that just makes a huge difference. Because I think even if he's struggling, he's still going to have a lot of chances to score just by playing with those two guys.
Yeah, and you talk about the struggling defense, which I think is a big concern, but at goaltending, I think the Sabres made a big improvement. You get a guy like Hutton from St. Louis replacing Robin Lehner, who obviously has had a lot of personal problems, so he wasn't at his best on the ice, but I think Hutton provides the Sabres. I think he's going to have a breakout year for the Sabres this year.
Yeah. I have to say, though, this is easily one of the most productive off seasons that Buffalo has had in maybe the last 5 years. I mean, getting, like you mentioned, Jeff Skinner, even Connor Sheary from Pittsburgh, drafting #1 overall. I mean, this is a great offseason for Buffalo, and I really hope they finally are on the climb this year.
Seems like they're on their way up.
Yeah, even talking about a guy like Jeff Skinner, just how much havoc he creates in front of the net. It's going to be a big point line for Eichel, Skinner, and Reinhart, obviously. Yeah. But now we're going to move on to our first power rankings of the season, which are, of course, going to be completely correct. So let's jump in at number 5, which is the Washington Capitals, of course, fresh off their Stanley Cup championship. Big for the city of D.C., but my concern is, are they a little bit too hungover in more than one way?
After that egg stands out of the cup, maybe.
After that big. So Capitals come in at number 5. And at number 4, we have the Nashville Predators.
Yep, no significant changes for Nashville. I mean, they won the President's Trophy last year, so just keep on keeping on for them.
Then we got, as you said, Luke, flying in number 3.
Soaring into number 3.
The Winnipeg Jets. They lost Paul Stastny in the offseason, but this is still a crazy team with arguably the best top 6 in all of hockey. You got Nikolai Ehlers, had a 60-point season, and Kyle Connor, who broke out in his rookie campaign, could have won the Calder if not for Matty Barzal. More points than John Tavares.
You had to have a Matty Barzal.
And a point-per-game player, of course. I gotta love him. My only question with this team is, can Connor Hellebuck, their top goaltender, repeat a Vezina-caliber campaign?
He had to drop that.
And obviously at number 2, talking about big offseason moves, San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, they added Erik Karlsson. There's really not much else you need to say. They have 3 of the best defensemen in the league, and Karlsson, Brent Burns, and who I think is the most underrated defenseman, Marc-Edouard Vlasic. And I think this trade really, it put them from just a playoff team to a legitimate Stanley Cup contender.
But the Joe Thornton shaving the beard, that might have been a big loss for them.
Really, I think
it was scary. I was like, whoa.
He looks worse than he did before.
Looks like a human thumb.
He looks like kind of sickly. Like his face looks like thinner and like old and wrinkly. And
I wasn't really a huge fan of the beard, but I think he looks better with it, though, now looking at him.
Yeah, you're right.
Bolting into the #1 spot on our power rankings,
come on.
2 points, 1 segment, is the Tampa Bay Lightning. And obviously, guys, they run those 3 lines just so deep. Can Vasilevsky be good enough in net for a postseason run? To be determined so far. Obviously, Lightning haven't had great postseason success lately, but I think this could be a year for them to come out of the East.
Yeah. Stamkos and Kucherov, you can't get much better than that for 2 people on your top line.
And Hedman and McDonough, man. Ooh.
So that wraps up our power rankings. But up next, Dylan and Mike will take us through their top 5 candidates for the Calder Trophy. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Stuck in the Sin Bin here on WTOP 10.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
So good to see you guys.
So, what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to Stuck in the Sim Bin. And with the new season approaching, we have some new faces across the NHL. Turning towards Dylan and Mike, we present our top 5 rookies.
Oh boy, Dylan, we got a stacked rookie classes here.
Yeah.
Starting off with Kaylor Yamamoto, Edmonton Oilers. What I love about this kid is that he's always in position to be open for the pass. You can see how he backs up over to open for the one-timer from his defenseman. He has that elite level shot like Johnny Gaudreau, his counterpart. He's the counterattack to him. 5'8", 5'9". You know, it's just a great thing to see that like small players like him are always going to make it to the NHL. So, I mean, once again, he's got very good offense awareness. You can see how he picks his head up right there and knows that the goalie's going to bite first. So, you know, I'm excited for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's great for his size. It's awesome. I think it's awesome for the league for guys like that to be.
Oh, yeah. And it's a good inspiration for kids like that.
Next up, we got Casey Middlestat, and this guy lit it up in Minnesota. He's a great prospect, and he could possibly have the best hands in the NHL right now. To me, he's really a prototypical center because he's just brilliant with the puck. He knows where his teammates are going to be. He's got great pass. It seems like every pass he makes is always tape to tape on the other guy's stick. To me, he's a perfect center to have. I think he's a guy that makes players on his line better, which I think I think he's perfect to be with Sheary and Okposo. I think he really can lift them up, and especially a second line like that behind that really good first line that Buffalo has.
Yeah, and as a center, you gotta have elite level hands to give tape to tape passes, and Middlestat's like that. Number 3, Andrei Svechnikov of the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm really excited for this kid. To be honest, he might win the Calder this year. But here we go. I love this guy because he's a prototypical Russian power winger. You can see how he has, I highlighted his leg here because he's got inside position on the defenseman to allow himself to keep space from the puck and the defenseman. We'll see it again here. Right here, got good position from the stick all the way to the defenseman back here. I love to see how he's got that big 6'3" body frame to keep himself from getting poked off the puck.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, he's really strong. He's brilliant to me. I think he's going to make a big impact.
I mean, he was the consensus number 2 for behind Dahlin. So, I mean, it's a great thing to see with Russians that are committed to coming over to the NHL now.
Absolutely.
And Svechnikov is one of them. And I'm here's another play from him. I mean, he's got that elite level shot to finish it off.
He's on my fantasy team too, so
I'm
pulling for him a little bit. Yeah.
So you definitely got to pull for him.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we got Rasmus Dahlin. For those of you who don't know anything, he was drafted first overall this year by the Buffalo Sabres, and this is probably his most well-known highlight. You're just going to watch him here. He's just a wizard with the puck. And yeah, we're actually going to stop it right here. And you saw the first guy at the blue line just put his stick out, Darlene easily right around him.
No
Second
chance.
guy right at the top of the circle steps up, Darlene right around him. So now that creates a 3-on-2 here. So this defender in the middle, he has an option where he can either go up and challenge Darlene and trust that his other guy's going to get back, or he can stay back, which would pretty much guarantee Darlene has a great look short side.
Right.
So it's kind of a tricky situation. And so Darlene has some options himself now, depending on what the defender does. So as we get ready to watch this video here, he's got a plethora of options, and obviously it's kind of challenging when you're coming at the side angle like that. When you have a defender coming at you, and you see right here, guy steps up, right around him.
Oh gosh.
Easy. He's just got
What a
great
move.
hands. Guy steps up, and that's not even a problem for him. He goes right around him, buries the wrister from in close. And that's just stuff you're going to see from him a lot. And I think for a defenseman like him to have the immense offensive upside and not take away from his defense that's generational.
100%. And our Calder favorite, Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks. Probably going to be one of the best two-way centers in the league in about 5 years. You can see here how he blocks the pass coming in to keep it in the zone as well and just fires home that wrister. Elias Pettersson has great offensive awareness, and you know I'm just really excited to see how he does with Vancouver. They're rebuilding; it's going to be a good thing for them, you know. And once again, just look at his awareness here. You know, it's just, you know, it's great to see that like Swedish people coming over, and you know, also just like following the steps of like Forsberg and like Sakic or something. You know, it's great.
Yeah, so we're actually going to go back to the desk here. Thanks for pulling to the green screen with us.
And you know, I can't lie, guys, pretty pumped to see two Sabres represented on this list. But coming up next, we break down the newest face of the NHL that has taken the world by storm. Don't move that dial. You're watching WTOP 10.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
I wouldn't use this one.
He helps me with my decision making.
Never.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
And then she was like, yeah, and I was like, no. And then she was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, what?
Ryan just texted me.
Oh my god, what did he say?
Netflix and chill?
Netflix and chill, that's like so last year. It's all about WTOP movies on demand and chill.
You are so right.
Yo, bro, what's wrong?
Yo, bro, my girl left me, bro.
But why?
Because I don't watch WTOP 10 movies on demand.
Welcome back to Stuck in the Sin Bin. Now let's jump right into the news from the NHL preseason. So the San Jose Sharks acquired Erik Karlsson from the Senators this offseason. San Jose is sending the Senators a first and second round pick, roster players Chris Tierney and Dylan DeMello, and prospects Josh Norris and Rudolph Balcers. The Senators will also receive up to 2 conditional draft picks. So guys, how much do the Sharks improve after this trade?
I mean, I don't think you can overstate how much they improved. They went from, as I said earlier, they went from just a playoff team to a legitimate contender, because this is a guy who really just transforms the entire look of a team.
Yeah, I mean, they contend with Nashville for having one of the deepest defensive cores in the entire NHL. It's good to see.
I mean, I think they have 2 of the top 5 defensemen in the entire NHL. If you leave it at that, it doesn't matter what you gave up to get that. That's just ridiculous. I mean, Carlson's the best offensive defenseman in the league, scores crazy points, and he's still a Norris caliber guy year in, year out. You add that to a guy like Brett Burns, who's also good, and it's scary how good this team is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a move you have to make, especially if you're a playoff team like the San
Oh
Jose
yeah,
Wolves.
100%.
Absolutely.
So moving on to our second news story. Several teams introduced their 3rd jerseys this week, and might I add, boys, they're looking fire. So which ones are your favorites?
You know what? I honestly have to say that black Kachina jersey of the Arizona Coyotes is fire. That is,
oh my God,
it is that's a great retro throwback for them, and I'm so excited for them to wear that at home.
That is one of my favorite NHL jerseys, period.
Yeah, and they got Jeremy Roenick with it too, dropping out one of the first pucks, and it's crazy. Luke, what do you think of this jersey?
Ooh, I love them. I mean, I really love the Coyotes one here. Obviously, it's a little bit of classic look for Arizona. I love it. It's a little bit of a cartoonish look, and I really love it. But moving on to our next jersey, we have Winnipeg, and we've had a little bit of controversy. Some of us don't like the script. What do you guys think?
Okay, let me be frank here. This looks like it was made with Microsoft Word art.
Nope.
I'm telling you. Like, what is that? No, it's not right.
Amazing.
That is a terrible jersey. What is Winnipeg doing?
The color is aviator blue. Right there, you win, because you get the pun, the little minutia that goes into the jersey. It's beautiful, just beautiful.
I love the color, but I'm still not sure about how I feel about the wording. I feel like the front is kind of plain to me.
Luke, you'll love this one, don't you?
I kind of get the word art theme. I do like the color though, so I'm a little bit in between. But moving on to our next jersey, which I really like actually, is the Columbus Blue Jackets. So let's put this thing up. You gotta love the classic look there. A little bit of an Arsenal soccer look with that logo. I love it, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is also one of my favorites. It's just classy. It's just sleek looking. I love the cannon. I love everything about it.
You knew they were going to go back to it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just a great design jersey. Like, it's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're in agreement on Columbus. So throwing up our next jersey here, it is the drum roll, please. Oh, it's the logo.
Yeah, so that's all the jerseys we got.
That's all the jerseys we have.
The Islanders did release theirs too. That one's beautiful, I might add as well.
They did.
But now, look, we have something more important to talk about here.
We have something much more controversial here. So the Flyers announced their new mascot last week. His name is Gritty, and yeah, he kind of looks like Animal from the Muppets, but I love him, guys. What do you think? Because I'm pro Gritty.
I'm with
What are you guys talking about?
What are you
He's
talking
terrible.
about?
He's disgusting. He's scary. He's a monstrosity. He threatens people. First off, look at his eyes when he comes out here.
I love
and
that.
this is just a disgraceful unveiling of a mascot too. I don't need 30 seconds
This
to
is
see a
not their
mascot.
material. What is this?
Look at his
This is
eyes.
terrible.
It's disgusting.
Oh,
he shot
hit
a
him with
Flyers
that,
employee with
though.
a t-shirt cannon. It is disgusting. It is an atrocity.
Can't even look.
He represents what
He's
the Flyers
scary.
are all
He
about.
threatened the Penguins mascot.
He's
threatened
heating up the
him.
rivalry. He looks like
That's what you're
Animal
supposed to
from
do.
the Muppets. Come on. God.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
even
guys,
know.
what can I say? I'm definitely pro Gritty. But speaking of not gritty but dirty, Tom Wilson's back to his old ways, as yet again the Capitals forward has laid another questionable hit in the second to last preseason game. He drilled Oscar Sundqvist of the St. Louis Blues. Wilson will have an in-person hearing at NHL headquarters in New York City Wednesday morning. Obviously, guys, nothing new from Scott Wilson. What do you think about this hit?
He's in postseason form, like he usually is, throwing dirty, cheap shot hits. It's Tom Wilson.
I mean,
again,
the guy's he's got to grow up.
It's so unnecessary. And why do it in a preseason game of all things? Why?
Come on. It's
Well,
terrible.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here for Stuck in the Sim. We'll be right back with our next break where we got the Islanders and Rangers after this.
Everybody has a dream.
They just give Devils.
It's fine.
Did nobody cares about Devils? Nobody.
I thought. Ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Is how are you, Precious? Okay.
Take out the precious. Way too cheesy.
Okay, yeah.
Just go, hey, how are you?
Nope.
How's your day?
Yeah.
Don't be cheesy.
Yeah, I figured.
So, what'd she say?
She's still typing. I'm not sure. She never takes this long.
I wouldn't worry about it. Give it a few minutes.
Okay.
Welcome back into Stuck in the Sin Bin. And now, Matt, I hate to bring it up, but the Islanders lost their captain this offseason as John Tavares will play for his hometown, or his childhood team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Can the Islanders recover after losing such an important part of their team?
Oh man, there's so much hope for this team. We got Matt Barzal, we got Kiefer Bellows, Josh Hosang, and Devon Taves. Wait, those last three aren't on the roster. You know why? Because instead they're rolling with Luka Spiza and Leo Komarov. Lou likes them. He brought them in. He brought them in for their winning culture. Lucas Spiza has played 20 playoff games in his career. Back a couple years ago when he was with the Vancouver Canucks, they were some of the worst teams in the NHL. They were terrible. They were worse than Grady the mascot.
Ooh,
but you look at Matt Barzal still. He was over a point per game player and so talented. He's gonna slide into that #1 center role just right. And you look at the way he scores, and it's sustainable. He's got speed that he is able to blow by guys. That doesn't change when you're going against a top pair team or a second pair. Look at this. In, out, back around on one of the premier defensemen on the Edmonton Oilers. Can't get a goal, but he has the talent that makes it okay if he's playing against some of the best defensemen in the NHL or Mirko Mueller and some of those other scrubs. So I'm very confident in Barzal. And this Islanders team has a black hole in their bottom six, which is going to be just disgusting and so bad.
I mean, first of all, I don't know if best defender on the Oilers is on the Oilers. It's really saying much.
Darnell Nurse is a good defenseman.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is. It was just a joke.
Yeah.
But
I'm just wondering, is Robin Leonard going to be enough in net this year? I mean, he's had all these off the ice problems, which obviously is a big deal, and it's definitely concerning. It's something that you never want to see anyone deal with. But obviously moving from the Sabres to Islanders, I wish the best on him, but in front of a shaky defense, I don't know how I feel about this pickup.
I mean, he can't make a save in the shootout.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
He shows flashes of brilliance, but it's all about just being able to keep his composure. Yeah. After coming out with the mental illness that he wrote, what's just a wonderfully written article on The Athletic, but hopefully he can keep his composure and move forward as the honest goalie. I don't trust this defense, though. With Lucas Spiza, with Mayfield, as long as Barry Trotz can do something, that's all they need. They need Barry Trotz to step up and really do something for this defense.
Well, moving on to the Manhattan Borough, the Rangers missed the playoffs for the first time since 2010. So, Mike, with the rebuild in full effect, what are some things we can look forward to seeing this year?
The one bright spot is that we still have some of the core players there that, I mean, are keep staying on the team for the future. Like Pavel Buchnevich, who, will he have a breakout season? I don't know, but I really hope so because in preseason he had like 7 points in 5 games or something or 4 games, however many he played. He's looking like an absolute force out there.
Yeah, they have head coach David Quinn from BU. I think he's really going to help those younger guys like Buchnevich, like Elias Anderson, Philip Hedl. Those are some of the premier guys that they're just waiting to break into this NHL.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, obviously we're expecting a breakout year from Buchnevich. What I see from this team is I look at their top line with Kreider, Buchnevich, and then Zibanejad centering them. But I look at the next 3 lines, and it's really basically like 3, 2.5.
It's like a mishmash of
exactly.
just players.
But I think that's really that makes them dangerous because their fourth line isn't just a bunch of grinders. You know, like the Martin Cizikas, Clutterbuck, Downers.
Right. That's a third line actually.
But I think everybody, all their forwards are a threat to score, which I think makes them a little more. I don't necessarily say they're going to be a playoff team or anything, but I think they could be offensively a little more dangerous than people expect.
Yeah. I am happy to see that Brett Howden and Philip Hedl have actually made the team. And Brett Howden was actually a little bit of a surprise for me because I thought Lias Anderson was going to make it. But I mean, Brett Howden, good on him to make the team out of camp. So I mean, this is one of his other goals in preseason. Just
the vision for that pass too is tremendous.
That's a guy. That's a guy that I'm expecting a decent amount from Jimmy Vesey. I'm excited because he never really lived up to his full potential. Obviously, he just lit it up in college. But obviously, you know, Alain Vigneault struggles developing young players. So I'm excited. I'm interested to see if Quinn can really get that untapped potential out of Vesey because I think it's still there.
The release from the handcuffs of Alain
Vigneault.
Yeah. But you know, to lead them all, I find that you know, there's one player that can bring a lot of leadership to this team, and that person is Mats Zuccarello. So I mean, you guys know him. He's the small, undersized winger, and I mean, he's a wizard in the shootouts. And hey, look at this play here. Absolutely bodies Xavier Roulette.
Oh my God!
It's a physical play
Back for the bench.
Yeah.
He benched him.
Gritty. That's a gritty play. I was expecting to get flattened.
Yeah.
That's the third gritty play. That was completely unintentional here.
But guys, to just move a little bit more south into New Jersey, obviously the Devils coming off of a tough 4-1 Eastern Conference playoff loss to the Lightning, overachieved a little bit in the beginning, sunk a little bit, rose a little bit, up and down season. What's the keys for the Devils to get back to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, they're in kind of an interesting spot because they made the playoffs, but through the middle of the year, they didn't really seem like a playoff team. Yeah. But I'm interested because Palmieri missed a lot of time. Johansson, I don't even think he played 20 games because of the head injuries. Don't get me started on Brad Marchand. But I think they're also really balanced. I don't think they're offensively quite as talented as the Rangers in terms of depth, but I think their top line, obviously, they have Taylor Hall.
And you like you like Coleman a lot, right?
Yeah, this is a guy I really want to watch for, and that's Blake Coleman. I think he showed a lot of potential last year, and I really think he's a guy that you could see take a big step forward and really become a key. As you're going to watch him right here, he's not a big guy, but he's got great presence in front of the net, as you saw right there. And this is his highlight that everyone saw last year, the one-handed backhand goal.
What a goal.
Don't get me started on Matt Murray's glove. So I can talk about that all day.
Slow glove.
But despite that, I think he's got a lot of speed, and he's also very physical for a guy his size. I think he's somebody that we could see.
I think the Devils really need a guy like Coleman to step up. When you talk about last year's really only top-line production, and after that, it was
just the Taylor
Hall show.
Taylor Hall led the team with 93 points. Nico Hischier was second with 52 points.
That's insane.
41-point difference.
You don't see that out of a playoff team.
The difference was almost more than Hischier's points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand how that a team playing with Taylor Hall, like his line mates, where were they?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was astonishing to me.
Another guy I'm looking for, but another guy I'm looking for is Jesper Bratt.
Not today.
Because he started off the year just playing really well, playing with Hischier and Hall, and then all of a sudden he just couldn't buy a goal or buy anything. So he's likely going to start out in the second line. I'm very interested because I think if he can become consistent, he could be another offensive threat. Definitely.
Can Corey Schneider also be consistent this year? Because there was a lot of injury problems last year.
He's still injured now.
He's not
exactly. Still injured now. Will Keith
starting.
Kincaid step in and play big minutes for the team?
Well, you know I love Kincaid. My guy from
Union this year.
My guy, Union College, connected to New York, Keith Kincaid.
He stepped in.
Who are you shouting out? It's like Union College watching the show.
No, Keith Kincaid.
Listen, guys.
Keith Kincaid.
He's watching right now.
Yeah, I hope he's watching.
We know you're watching.
But yeah, I think he stepped in brilliantly last year until the playoffs. But that's besides the point. But I think they need Schneider to really regain the form that he was in because I'm still not sure about Kincaid for a whole season. Obviously, he played really well starting at the end of last year.
Type of goalie.
But yeah,
he's a backup.
we have yet to see him. Yeah, he's a backup.
Yeah,
we have to see him start for a full year.
Yeah.
So. I think that's probably the most important piece still.
I don't trust their centers. I mean, you've got, aside from Hischier, you have Pavel Zacha, who has been really not good in his NHL career, quite a bust if I say so myself. Travis Zajac is just old for your third line. Like, he's fine, but he's old. He's not going to put up points. And then, of course, Brian Boyle, who is a typical fourth-line center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty full show. I mean, Dylan got his Union College in the D block, and Matt got Barzell in the A block.
Baby.
Somehow we're talking about the Sabres, and he just slides him in there.
Of course.
But that is
It's
all the
always the
time
way
we
it's
have on this week's edition of Stuck in the Sin Bin. Thank you so much for joining us on our first episode of Season 3. From Mike McCormack, Dylan McGlynn, and Matt Watling, I'm Luke Owens, and we'll catch you next